Okay, so now we're working with Fractured Heart of Stathmore, Part 9. This session, we were able to get Skip or Richard back into it. Still need to get him to do a player profile, but that's in the near future. Um, anyway, this session was kind of slow. Not really much happened, um, and I also have some news for later. I'll leave it after this video and probably do an introduction for said um, announcement. Anyway, so we last left off with Wendell, with in the city with Serafina and Yanok, and they're just out exploring since his player was gone. Um, Linton and Griffin went to the Bard's College to speak with Dean Aligo about their participation in a plot to catch a hooded figure. And a NPC known as Elastala, who's in league with my brother's character, Alvaro, went to the guards to speak with them about that same exact thing. So we cut to Linton and Griffin, and the dean meets with this congregation downstairs. Um, he has a very commanding. Obviously, well, he's the dean of the Bard's College. He has a very commanding grasp on how they, just as soon as everyone sees his foot hit the stairs, silence. So he meets with the congregation, asks for the Wind Symphony for this plan, for this performance that will hopefully just convince the thief to try and rob the guards. Okay, so eventually Avero and Alastala arrive at the Bard's College, and because the players absolutely love them, Jacob and Quendel, the little kids that like sorcery, show up, and they're originally looking for Christopher, the kid that the bard Griffin was teaching, sorry, a little bit more tips and tricks about being a bard, while Christopher was teaching Griffin sorcery. So he sees the party and goes up to them and is like, is offering this rare card um, for trade, and he's just being a jerk as usual. He's very pretentious, and eventually Linton grabs the card with a mage hand, and so the best way I could think of diffusing this situation was I was like, okay, well, roll initiative, I guess. So it basically lasts one turn, not even a round, just one turn. He grabs the card, rolls intimidate, basically freezes Jacob in his tracks because he's acting like he's gonna rip it. Quendel just falls down on the floor. So the combat sequence was pretty much diffused. And of course, these cards. He's willing to trade 2 cards to just kind of get rid of that rare card. So yeah, um, it's a really strange thing. But like even in combat, even as they're about to exchange these cards, um, Jacob just goes for a swing at I have much room here. He goes for a swing at Linton and rolls a 1, so he just decks Quendel, and so Quendel's just knocked out on the floor. So it's just this whole funny scenario of and of course because they're kind of like that guy, kind of like the neckbeard kind of thing. I can't complain. That used to be me. Because they are like that, pretty much the sacred dust or the Cheeto dust on Quendel's uh, his shirt kind of revives him, almost like smelling salts, and even gives him temp HP. That was an executive decision by Matthew. It was funny. Trust me, it was funny. Um, so yeah, that occurred, and everyone's distraught. So they're sitting there talking for a little bit, and then Griffin. They're talking about the plan in a little bit greater detail, and then Griffin accidentally. He says it's accidentally, but it's Griffin. So accidentally uses a flashbang in the college. Of course, everyone failed their check to look away or be blinded. The entire college rolled a 1, and just everyone else failed except for Griffin. So everyone else is looking like he's just looking at everyone else like, oh, and so it was just this whole fun thing. But right after that, Elistala kind of insults the group, to which Alvaro actually, I'm very surprised at this, quips by saying, well, maybe you should wear less revealing clothing, because you can see her bust. Anyway, he expecting a slap, he takes advantage on trying to dodge, but that doesn't help against a nat 20. She slaps him to the ground. So it's just this whole like situation of, burn and then hitting him back. But it was fun, trust me. Okay, so all this nonsense out of the way, everyone except for Griffin, because Griffin wanted to go perform with the Wind Symphony and wanted to practice, went to go see the guards again. So they're talking to the captain of the guard, and about, like, okay, exactly, I don't know why, no offense to him, I don't know why this happened so late in the investigation, but they were trying to pinpoint where these assaults on the storefronts were happening. So he gathers out a map, and he goes down the list of by chronological order where and when these places were hit, and basically a big portion of it was in the housing district, like through, excuse me, the first 3 dots were in the housing district, and then it kind of randomized a little bit. So they kind of picked up on that. Whether that means anything or not, we shall see. So, fun thing is that Dean Aligo comes in, of the Bars College, since it's a little bit later, to meet with the guard captain. So that way they can converse and plan this thing for the next day. So, that happens, and they kind of leave, and they're like a parade line set up. So everyone, it's Wendell, Alvaro, and Linton are just outside of the guard post, and these 4 goblins, basically wanting to be recognized by the public. I'll say it, I'm not shy. It's a Green Lives Matter thing, because they're underappreciated. Goblins are very underappreciated in D&D. I'm sure anyone watching this video that knows me knows my rants about goblins. I love them. They're little mischievous little buggers, but they're also just so much fun. So anyway, they do this one protest, and Wendell, who kind of got his entire village destroyed by goblins, marched up to them and told them to get out. I wish I was paraphrasing. That's just what happened. So he attempts to swing at him, but Linton has him by the arm, and Linton Alvaro kind of just grab him and carry him to the side, not really off the street. He actually tries to go after the goblins after they are right after they sorry right after they walk off, but he gets tripped and caught, and I believe at the same time that was happening, Linton the mage or the sorcerer used sleep, so like 5 or 6 people in the crowd just passed out. So just all these things happening, but Alvaro ended up grabbing him, says, I'm okay, and he gets called in his lie. So he tries to fight more, but with Alvaro just holding him there, and actually even with that lie, and even saying I'm not going to fight anymore, Alvaro just one more portion of non-lethal damage, along with a shocking grasp by the sorcerer, just knocked him out cold. So that's where we are, is 2 people dragging one of the party back to the inn because he has been incapacitated due to attacking goblins, and the other one right now is at the Bard's College performing and practicing. So there's that. what I wanted to bring up, and I might be doing an intro video for this when it happens, is Richard cannot make it every other week to these sessions. So instead of him missing every other week, because that's a lot of time to be missed. So instead of him missing every other week, what is going to happen is he is going to we are going to only play that on once we're right now we're on the eastern side of Stathmore. I don't have a map right now, but we're on the eastern side of Stathmore, and so every other week we're going to be playing with Richard or Skip. On those off weeks, we are going to be playing on the west side, and myself, Josh, Matthew, and Lamont are all going to be trading off DMing. So while the main group is exploring this side every other week, this side of Stathmore, the east side. I don't know if the camera's inverted or not, but while they're doing exploring the east side and building lore and all this other stuff, the west side is going to be, I guess, played with by the same group. It's going to be the same group of players, but they're going to be playing different characters, if that makes sense. So we're going to have two different campaigns going on in this huge world on different ends of the map. Someone even brought up Path of Evil. There will probably be more clarifications, and there will probably even be more player profiles to come. But we shall most certainly see, because nothing has been set in stone. I've made a character. I don't know if I'm going to do a player profile for her yet, because so far we're not playing. I can't flesh her out and explain about her if we're not playing. So yeah, that's about it for now. So probably nothing next week, and then I should have one out the week after that, unless something happens or something goes down. Okay, well, that's it for now. Thanks.